Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Whether you're tuning in on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM, we welcome you all back to our program. Also, those tuning in through online affiliates around the world, we're glad to have all of you, including our iHeartRadio family. We're glad you all could join us as well. We're excited to welcome Newton Mayenge to our program today to talk to us not only about his journey as a model and actor, but also what it's been like for him to do work that he's passionate about and to be able to see the response. The other great thing about Newton is that he's always giving back, using the spotlight that's on him to raise awareness for causes that matter to him. We'll talk to him a little bit about that, as well as what he has coming up that you all should be looking forward to. If you're just now hearing about Newton, we'll tell you at the end of our segment how you can stay connected with him. But Newton, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey, hello, Cyrus. How you doing?
Hey, doing really good. Glad to have you on with us, man. You know, I want to start off by talking about this year because one of the reasons why I initially reached out to you and your camp is because I was just so excited and impressed for you, for all the great things that are already happening for you in 2018. What has it been like for you, Newton, to kind of reflect on, you know, the first couple months of this year and the way that your career is moving forward?
You know what it's been? It's been a big blessing. All the opportunities that I've gotten thus far have been just opportunities. They've been building blocks, and one of the main things. Obviously, I just got out of the NBA All-Star Weekend, and I was involved in the fashion show for the weekend. It was just a great opportunity for me to do my modeling thing and get a chance to hang out with some different designers and kind of model their fashion lines, and it was a building block because it's something that has allowed me to go into other avenues in the fashion business that's already built from what I was doing previously with the previous modeling opportunities that I've gotten.
Right. Do you feel like, because, I know for myself, when I kind of look at life, I think, and I'm so glad you use that term about building blocks, because I think so many times where we are today is because of the work we put in yesterday, right? And then, the weeks and days and even years before. Do you feel as though that's kind of what's happening for you, too? The blessings that are coming your way is because you weren't afraid to put in the work initially?
Yeah, you know what it is? That's you hit it right on the nail, Cyrus. Growing up, I've always been an athlete. My parents taught me to work hard. And what you do today affects what you do later on, and what opportunities you get later on as well. So, but the premise behind that, the main thing was always the work ethic and putting those details and working on those details and putting in the time. That way, when you do get opportunities, you're prepared, and that creates other opportunities.
Right. I think that is so true. So take us back a little bit, Newton. I mean, have you always known that you were meant to do something? I think for so many people, one of the things that surprises me is, they wonder if their life does have a purpose. Is that something that has always been clear for you, that you have a purpose for your life?
I think that's been very clear for me from as long as I can remember as a child. I mean, and the reason why I say that, it wasn't necessarily that I knew what I wanted, but I knew I was meant to do something impactful.
Gotcha.
That would affect a lot of people in a positive way. My journey started off as an athlete. I played overseas basketball. I played in Germany for several years, and it was a great opportunity because I got a chance to play professional basketball. Play in a different environment, a different culture, get a chance to intermingle with people outside of the U.S. and get their perspectives on life and the whole Euro League thing. It was a great opportunity to kind of get outside the box of the U.S. continent, so to speak. But that allowed me. That was the result of the work that I put in prior to that. Going to college, I graduated from the University of North Carolina. My parents always told, because they're from the Congo, they're immigrants. They immigrated here back in the early 1970s, and I wasn't born yet. So I was born here. I was literally first generation African American. Mm-hmm. But from their previous experiences, like my dad was a doctor in the Congo, but then when he came here to the U.S., his education wasn't honored. So he literally had to start from the ground up all over again. And that takes a certain type of character to be able to literally go back and re-educate yourself and be humble enough to do it. When on one end, on the other end, you're a doctor, someone who's already gone through the rigors to be in that profession. But he did it, and he became a nurse here. But the bottom line is that was the building block that eventually got me to play, international basketball, go to college, which eventually turned into international basketball.
Gotcha. And you've definitely been moving forward since that. I mentioned to you before we went on here, Newton, that one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and I appreciate you bringing up about, your career starting in sports, because anytime I think and I think for our audience, they'll appreciate this, anytime that they have found some type of recognition or success, whatever that means to them in a certain field, it's not always easy to move past that because, you feel like, hey, you're kind of in where you're supposed to be, what will happen if that doesn't, happen in this next thing. What was that like for you to to go from having the success you've been able to have as, in sports and be recognized for that? What was it like for you to make that transition, Newton, into, acting and modeling?
To be honest, the work ethic was not difficult. It was the realizations because we're human. The realization, because, I don't know if you know this, but I was in a car accident. That's what ended my career prematurely. So it was hard. It was hard because I couldn't continue to play the game that I enjoyed playing. However, what wasn't hard was transitioning that same work ethic to the acting and the modeling, because once I started taking acting classes, I fell in love with it, and it legitimately gave me the same passion as when I played the game of basketball, and I wanted to apply that same work ethic into the acting, and then obviously modeling was kind of something that was, an added bonus because that kind of came with it. But to answer your question, it's tough, but it wasn't that tough also because it was kind of already in me.
Gotcha. Do you feel as though it kind of, as far as audience goes, because, I think it's always interesting when people are known for certain things, almost like actors are known for certain roles but not other roles. Or do you find that happens with you, Newton, that people know you for sports but may not know, hey, I didn't know you did modeling and acting, and people who know you for modeling don't know that you also used to be involved in sports? Do you find that you do have these overlapping of audiences?
I do. One thing that I try to do, and I'm still continuing, I've got a couple of things that are in the works, some projects, some acting perspectives that are sports related, that are basketball related, specifically. But I do have audience that don't know that. I try, even from a social media perspective, I try to still tell people and show certain things, be it a video or certain things that I have going on. And I still am an athlete, but and that's never going to change. Yeah. And vice versa. People that have grown up knowing me as an athlete, they're just now starting to understand, okay, you are an actor. Wow, you are a model. Because I try to be as diverse. I never want to pigeonhole myself and put myself in one box. Because I have studied, when you go into any kind of field, no matter what it is, you study people before you. And you give them the utmost respect. And going into acting and modeling, I've done the same. I've studied the Sidney Poitiers, who I've gotten a chance to meet and gotten a lot of, advice from. He's one of my role models. The Denzel Washingtons. I've studied those guys and see, the Johnny Depp is a great example of a role model. I enjoy his career because he's able to play various roles.
Right.
And they're essentially so different, but he's so effective in all of those roles. Yeah. And I want to be that type of individual, to be able to, be one minute I could be one thing and the next minute I'm something totally different, but still have the same impact from an audience perspective. So the bottom line is I don't want to be pigeonholed, so I want to be able to be known for various things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think it's a great thing for all of us to kind of keep in mind. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome model and actor Newton Mayenge to our program today. Newton is talking with us not only about the journey to doing what he loves in 2018, but also what it's been like for him to kind of reflect on how it all began. And then, of course, the experience of sharing it all with you. You brought up social media, Newton. That's one of the ways, of course, I connected with you and was able able to set up this conversation. Well, talk to us about that. What has that part of the experience been like for you to literally share with the world, in pictures and videos, not only, of course, the journey, but also the successes that come along with it?
It's been a great journey thus far. Social media is a very impactful thing because essentially you can broadcast whatever you want, and you can create a fan base, and you can pretty much create your own voice, if you will. One thing about the social media what people don't know about is I was in a master's program where my MBA was in internet marketing. So I take it from a different perspective too when I utilize social media, because I use it from once again going back to those keywords, building blocks. Mm-hmm. I use it as a building block for something, for the next situation or the next opportunity. Kind of like you once again reached out to me and we were able to connect. One of my acting coaches, studying under Tasha Smith, she's been very. She kind of assisted me with different things as far as my acting career. And I would literally use social media to broadcast that stuff and have my own voice so people could see what I was doing. And then it just kind of went from there. The different modeling gigs I would get, I would broadcast that. And I did it in such a strategic way to where people literally followed what I was doing and wanted to see more. What's next? Right. It was almost like a show of some type. What's the next episode?
Yeah.
What is he having coming up next? But to involve people, not from a self-centered perspective, but a community perspective to where everyone can feel like they're a part of something.
For sure. To segue from that, talking about community, one of the other things you do with social media, Newton, and not just keeping us posted on what's going on with you, but of course, causes that you're able to support. I mean, has that also been one of the bonuses for you having your platform, being able to raise awareness for causes that matter to you and things that matter to you?
Yes. You can't be self-centered, and you can't be it all be about yourself. You have to reach out to other individuals that can assist you for various things, because there's a lot of people who are hurting. There's a lot of people who may be in need, and there's certain causes that are very dear to my heart. I was just involved with an Alzheimer awareness event with the mayor of Beverly Hills. T.O. was there as well, Twitter Owen. My girlfriend, Whitney Bowers, she was there. She's an amazing actress as well. But we were there to support Alzheimer's and to make that awareness that there are resources if you're dealing with that within your family. We also went to an event where cancer, I lost a family member from cancer, to where it was my brother-in-law, where I took over custody of my nephew for a few years. So cancer is a big deal, and I wanted to make sure that people understand that there are resources for people who are dealing with those issues, and I use that as a platform to bring those things up.
Right. For sure. I think that's it. I have found one of the things that I have talked a lot about on the show, and personally, Newton, has been the balancing act that it's not always easy. And so I'd love to talk to you about this, and that is appreciating where you are, but also moving ahead. There are so many people who get lost in what they've done already that they can't move forward, and there's nothing new for them to be able to reach for. How have you been able to balance appreciating where you are and what you've done and what got you here, but also, not neglecting looking forward and wanting more for yourself?
I've been told I'm a workaholic. My girlfriend tries to help me out tremendously on on balancing that kind of stuff. Because, sometimes you get blindsided. All right, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Right.
I like, I try to enjoy each moment. And appreciate it, because it's a moment that you when it's gone, you don't get it back. So, in a sense, balancing is very important, because I enjoy every moment. But then when I move on to the next one, I'm able to enjoy that moment too. So I don't know if that answers the question specifically, but I try to enjoy every moment when I'm doing it, as far as from a balancing perspective.
No, it does. It does. And that, and I think the reason why I wanted to ask you that as we move forward is that because you do have people that look up to you for so many different reasons, from what you've been able to achieve, how you've been able to overcome challenges, how you, keep moving forward, because of your work ethic. The title of being a role model, Newton, is that something that's been easy for you to embrace?
It has, because I grew up with a few role models, not specifically direct, not direct, but more indirect. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to, when I became an adult and obviously being in the public eye, I wanted to be able to directly impact people, even if I never got a chance to even speak with a person. When you're utilizing, say, a film, when you're utilizing social media, that platform is an opportunity to be a role model. I mean, I have kids, for example, all the time that will DM me on Instagram or message me, and they'll tell me how a post that I put up was encouraging to them, and it's allowed them to feel like they can do something that I'm doing. And that's just so impactful for me, and that's the end result that I'm looking for, because this is bigger than just what I'm doing. It's an opportunity to help others be encouraged and to push forward in whatever their dreams and objectives are. So to answer your question, a role model is being a role model is a big deal for me, and I try to embrace it as much as I can.
Gotcha. Well, to go back to what I just asked you a moment ago, Newton, let's talk about the what's next. As I said, we've been able to see you, as you mentioned, even beginning of this year, being a part of a lot of different events with your modeling. What should our audience be looking forward to from you next?
Well, I'm just finishing up I had a film that was executive produced by Viola Davis. It just finished up the Sundance tour. It had gone to Sundance and was very successful in the tour. We were up for the Academy, but we didn't. It was a bunch of great films as well that we were in, competition with. But that's something. It's called Night Shift. So that'll be out shortly. There'll be more information on that on my social media. I've also been invited to New York Fashion Week when that comes back around. From a modeling perspective, that'll be a great opportunity to continue my modeling work. I've got a film that'll be premiering next month. It's called Not Another Day with this wonderful actress. Her name is Janae Hope. It's going to be, to say the least, a very inspirational, overcoming film. I don't want to give away too much information on that.
Sure.
But it's going to be something that's going to inspire a lot of people, specifically young women. And then I've got a TV series that'll be coming out. It's going to be 8 episodes. I can't really share too much about that as well. Web series. But all these things will be able. Anyone that's looking to get involved or see any of these events or projects, you can look on my Instagram, and that's at Newton NEWTON MAYENGE, and that's always the best resource, because then you'll see what latest things I have coming up.
Okay. So make sure you all are staying connected with Newton. You can find him, as you said, on Instagram. And, of course, we'll be sharing that for our online audience in the notes here to make it easy for you guys just to click on it. Newton, congratulations to you on the journey that you've been on and all the great things that have come your way, and we know the great things to come. And looking forward to our next conversation together, man.
Cyrus, thank you for having me. I appreciate you a lot. And once again, man, it was always a pleasure to speak with you.
Appreciate that. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late and missed part of the conversation with Newton, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music, as well as a great thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.